name is Dallas. I was born into dust and hope, the kind of hope that survives on cracked floors and borrowed light. I met Eston when neither of us had anything worth stealing. That was why we loved each other so hard. We understood hunger. We understood waiting. We understood shame. Love was easier when you had nothing to lose. We met behind the bus station, where I ran my kiosk, a wooden box nailed together with old boards. I sold bread, canned drinks, phone cards, little things that helped people survive the day. That kiosk was my whole life, my pride, my shield. Eston used to stop there every evening, same time, same smile. He never bought much, sometimes just water, sometimes nothing. He would lean against the pole beside my kiosk and talk about life, about how he wanted more, about how he was tired of being invisible. I liked the way he spoke, slow, honest, like he meant every word. One evening, rain came without warning. He stood there, soaked, still talking. I stepped out, pulled him under the kiosk roof. Our shoulders touched. That was it. That small touch felt like a door opening. The love that grew from nothing. We fell in love without ceremony. No dates, no gifts, just time. We walked everywhere, streets, markets, bus stops, our fingers always finding each other. He kissed me like he was grateful, like my mouth was a miracle. When we were alone, he explored me with wonder, not greed. He made me feel seen, wanted, safe. At night, we lay on a thin mattress in my rented room. The ceiling leaked, the power went out often, but he held me like I was the only warm thing left in the world. He told me his dreams in whispers. He wanted to build something, a company, a platform, something tech-related, something global. He talked about America, Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom like they were places we would visit, not just names. I believed him, because when he spoke, his eyes burned, and because he believed in me, too. When customers insulted me, he stood beside my kiosk like a wall. When I was tired, he rubbed my feet. When I cried about my life being small, he kissed my forehead and said, "One day, this world will call you the woman who stood behind me." I held onto that sentence like a prophecy. The opportunity came suddenly. A foreign investor, a small accelerator program, a chance to travel to London for 3 months, training, exposure, seed funding. There was one problem: money, application fees, travel documents, living expenses. Evan sat on my bed that night, staring at the wall, silent, broken. "I guess it wasn't meant to be," he said. I stood up. I looked at my kiosk in my mind, every can, every loaf, every coin I had saved inside a tin under my mattress, and I made a decision without fear. The next morning, I sold everything: the kiosk, the stock, the boards, even the small stool I sat on. People asked why. I smiled and said, "I'm investing." By night, my hands were empty, but Eston's future was full. When I gave him the money, he cried, a grown man shaking, holding my waist like he would fall if he let go. "I will marry you," he said. "I will make you proud. I will never forget this." I believed him, because love makes vows feel permanent. When he rose, I stayed below. We cried at the airport, kissed until boarding was called twice. He promised to call every day. At first, he did. London turned into Berlin, Berlin into New York. Meetings, pitch rooms, late nights. His company took off. Investors came. Media noticed. His name started appearing online. I watched from my small room, holding my phone like it was a window. I was proud. I was lonely. When he came back after a year, he wore better clothes, smelled different, spoke faster. But when he touched me, it felt the same, or so I thought. Success changed him quietly. He complained about my clothes, about my lack of ambition, about my silence in rooms full of important people. "You don't fit here," he said once, laughing. "I mean, yet." I swallowed the words that rose in my throat. Then came the women. Polished women, influential women, women who spoke loudly and laughed freely, women who took pictures with him in Paris, Dubai, Singapore. At first, he denied everything. Then he apologized. Then he stopped hiding. I saw him in a hotel lobby once, his hand on another woman's waist, his mouth near her ear. He didn't even flinch when he saw me. That was when something inside me died. Not loudly, cleanly. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I packed a bag and left while he slept. No note, no message. I walked away like I was unbroken, and that scared him more than tears ever could.
I rebuilt myself. Education, business, networks. I learned how money moves, how power works, how men fall. I worked across Canada and Switzerland. I invested quietly, built something real, something dangerous. By the time Estan heard my name again, I was no longer small. I was impressive. He came back. Of course he did. He said he missed me, said he never stopped loving me, said he was wrong. I smiled. I let him back into my bed. This time, I let him think he was in control. The love felt deeper, slower, warmer. I touched him like memory, kissed him like forgiveness. He didn't know every kiss was a calculation. By the time he came back into my life, his company looked strong from the outside, but inside it was tired. Growth had been fast, too many investors, too many promises, too many expansions into places like the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia without solid foundations. Cash was moving, but stability wasn't. And Estan was scared. He didn't say it out loud, but I could see it. The way he checked his phone at night, the way he snapped at his team, the way he drank and laughed too loudly in public. Then I arrived. Calm, successful, quietly powerful. I didn't boast. I didn't flaunt. I let him discover my success piece by piece. An article here, a conference mention there, a board seat in Switzerland, a partnership rumor in Canada. His eyes lit up again, this time not with love, with relief. I never offered help. That was the key. Men like Estan don't want rescue. They want opportunity disguised as destiny. He was the one who suggested it. What if our companies collaborated? What if we merged resources? Imagine the story. 2 lovers building an empire together. He said it smiling. I said nothing at first. I let silence do the seducing. Then I said softly, only if it's fair, only if it's clean. He promised transparency. He promised partnership. He promised me a seat at the table. What he didn't realize was that I already owned the table. The merger wasn't aggressive. It was elegant. My company came in as a strategic stabilizer, injecting capital, taking on risk, restructuring debt. On paper, it looked like I was saving him, and I was, just not in the way he thought. There were clauses, voting rights tied to performance, control safeguards in case of mismanagement. He skimmed. He trusted. He was too busy imagining headlines, too busy imagining me standing beside him again, loyal, proud, supportive. He forgot something crucial. I had once sold everything for him. That kind of woman doesn't make careless decisions twice. Control shifted quietly. No press conference, no shouting, no drama. Just a board meeting. 1 vote, One document activated. Suddenly, decisions weren't his anymore. His signature still mattered, but only symbolically. The board answered to me. Investors followed stability. Stability followed stability. Control followed ownership, and ownership was mine. He laughed at first. "This is temporary," he said. "You've got my back." I nodded. I always nodded. Then the audit started. Old deals resurfaced, inflated projections, questionable partnerships. Nothing illegal enough for prison, just enough to erase trust. Sponsors pulled out. Media turned cold. Friends stopped calling. He went from being the visionary CEO to the man who lost his company. To the world, it looked like bad luck. To him, it felt like betrayal. He came home one night furious. "You knew. You planned this." I looked at him calmly, and for the first time, I told the truth. I planned survival. When the company officially rebranded under my leadership, his name disappeared. No legacy clause, no honorary title, no footnote. Just gone. He tried to start again, but the industry remembered. In New York, doors closed. In London, calls went unanswered. In Berlin, investors smiled politely and said, "We'll get back to you." They never did, because in business, reputation is oxygen, and I had taken the air out of the room. Why it hurt the most. The worst part wasn't losing the company, it was realizing why he lost it. Not because I hated him, but because he once looked at a woman who sold her entire life for him and decided she was no longer enough. I didn't destroy his future, I simply removed myself from protecting it, and without him, everything he built collapsed. After I realized I now own him, I walked away, took everything, the company, the reputation, the future. I left him with nothing but memories of a woman who loved him when he was nobody and destroyed him when he forgot. People asked me if I regretted it. I said no, because I didn't ruin him. I simply returned him to the place he started, empty, just like the kiosk I sold, just like the ground I once stood on for him.